Great morning, great morning, great morning, and happy Monday. This is Kristen Young, the marriage enthusiast, with your Monday morning marriage-minded message from Living the Vows. So today we are talking about the top 5 must-have conversations in your marriage. For those of you who are following our website and blog, I do have a post on my website, www.livingthevows.com, that talks about the top 5 conversations you must have before you get married. So today we are using that to talk about the top 5 conversations you must have throughout your marriage. These are the ongoing conversations. So number 1, let's talk about it. We got to talk about sex. You got to talk about sex. You got to talk about sex. Okay. So we have to talk about sex. We have to be comfortable talking about sex. We have to have those open conversations. Talk about what's turning you on, what you want to try differently, different positions, different locations, different outfits, whatever it is that works for you and your husband. You have to be comfortable talking about it. Don't just let things fall by the wayside. If you're not being pleased, if he's not being pleased, if you're not sure, if you're uncomfortable with trying new things that he may have suggested, talk about it. Get clarity on what's making you uncomfortable, where you can find a happy medium. But don't just ignore the conversation. Have the conversation. Be open and honest with each other so that you can thrive. It's nothing more beautiful than having that physical and spiritual connection that comes through sex. So number 2, we got to talk about the money. Talk about the money. We got to get to that place where we are open and honest about our finances. Stop hiding stuff. Yes, it's uncomfortable to be in debt. Yes, it's fun to have those splurge moments where we spend a little bit more on ourselves and have ourselves feel good, but you can't hide that stuff. You got to be open and honest. You have to create a budget. You have to work together on your budget. So whether you have separate bank accounts, whether you have a joint bank account, whether you have a combination, whatever it is, you still have to be open and honest about where you are with your finances. Have a plan of attack for that debt. Work together to get it off. Don't just say, oh, that's his credit card and he has to work off that debt on his own. No, create that strategy where you're working together. You're both putting in to get that debt knocked down. Talk to a financial advisor if you need additional support in that area. If you need some expertise, contact somebody, reach out. Don't do it alone, and create that plan of attack so that you can enjoy your finances, you can plan your finances and thrive in your finances. Number 3, we gotta talk about your faith. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Okay, so we got to talk about, what does that look like? Are you worshiping together? Do you have 2 completely different faiths? There's many interfaith relationships. You have to talk about where you are. You're very rarely going to be on the same place spiritually at the same time. So you got to look at, are you worshiping in the same house of worship, or are you in 2 separate ones? Are you looking for a house of worship? Are you in a place where you're unsure about your faith and contemplating a different faith? Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you have to be open and honest with your spouse about that so that you can support one another through that journey. Sometimes you just got to pray things through, but you got to talk about it and be clear about how you're working together on that spiritual journey, because that can truly make or break your marriage. So get clear about that. The other thing is, number 4, the children. We got to talk about what about the children? Okay, we got to talk about how we're disciplining the children. How are we growing our family? I'm sure you've had the conversation about how many children you want to have, but how are you disciplining the children? And even if you had that conversation prior to about how you're going to discipline the children and raise the children or what have you, you have to be clear about the fact that each child is different and needs different levels of attention. So the way you discipline one child is not going to be the most effective for your second or third child. So you have to continue to be on the same page and have those conversations. Notice the differences in your children and see how you need to adjust for each child, and also be clear about yourself. Have those conversations with your husband so you can be able to say, you know what? I honestly don't have the grace to discipline this child in this way, but I know you have the grace for it, so I need you to step up with this particular child. It's not to say that you spend more quality time with one child versus the other. It's about knowing your areas of comfort and your strengths so that you can best suit your children. So be able to have that conversation, and of course, make sure you are talking about those conversations, those important conversations behind closed doors, because we always want to present that unified front in front of the children. Children are very sneaky. They catch on very quick. So if they see any type of divide or discord, they're going to play on that. So make sure you're always having a unified front in front of your children, so that behind closed doors, that means you need to have those conversations about how you're going to move forward and what your plan of action is behind closed doors. Get that clarity so that you can present that clarity to your children. Number 5, we got to talk about your lifestyle. What is your day-to-day routine? What are those things that you enjoy? Are you getting enough me time? Are you getting enough quality time with your girlfriends? Is your husband getting out with his homeboys? And if so, is it too much? Is it too little? Are there different things? What about your date nights? What are the things that you would like to do? Are you tired of going to just the restaurant and the movie? Do you want to do different things? Do you want to go skydiving? Are there different places you want to vacation for the family, for just the two of you? What are those things? Make sure your fitness, you've heard me talking more and more about fit and sexy wives, and making sure we are taking care of our health, our wellness, and getting fit so we can be confident in ourselves. So what does that look like? What does your routine look like? What are those things that you want to shift? Talk about it. If it's changes in your eating habits, in your groceries, talk about it with your husband. Don't just go out and change everything and get rid of all the junk food and make this shift, but have that conversation about what shifts you want to make in your lifestyle, your everyday living, so that both of you are on the same page and continue to thrive. So if you want support with having those conversations, contact me right now. I want you to go to your Facebook, inbox us. You can go to our Living the Vows page. Make sure you like the page first, then inbox us on Living the Vows and say, I want support with having these conversations. I need some conversation starters. I can support you with questions and thought processes and strategies to have those conversations. And then, of course, I want, for the wives only, join the 2-Ring Connection. Go ahead and send a member request to the 2-Ring Connection. That is our wives only community where we share resources, ask questions, seek the support that we need from one wife to another. So I thank you. I always want you to email us as well. I don't want to forget that. Email us, yes, YES, at livingthevows.com. Let us know how we can support you, how this video is of support to you, and what other videos and information you would like to see through these videos. So make sure you stay connected. I thank you always so much. I absolutely love you. Have an intentional week, and I will see you next Monday.